Good morning, friends, and happy Monday. I'm Xavier, and it's time for the Morning Roundup. I do this little newscast Monday through Friday, and I try to pull the stories that have more of a spotlight for the Black community, and I try to do it in under 10 minutes. Today is Monday, November 21st, 2022. Here's today's news just for you. First up from Colorado, heartbreaking news from over the weekend. A 22-year-old gunman opened fire in a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs, killing 5 people and injuring 18 before he was subdued by some heroic patrons and arrested by police who were on the scene within minutes. 2 firearms, including a long rifle, were found at the Club Q after the Saturday night shooting, and investigators were still determining a motive. And the attack was being investigated to see if it rises to the level of a hate crime. This is according to El Paso County District Attorney Michael Allen. Police identified the gunman as Anderson Lee Aldrich, who was in custody and being treated for injuries. A man with the same name and age was arrested in 2021 after his mother reported he threatened her with a homemade bomb, multiple weapons, and ammunition. This is according to authorities. Police did not confirm whether it was the same person, saying they were investigating whether the suspect had been arrested before. The violence is the 6th mass killing this month and comes in a year when the nation was shaken by the deaths of 21 in a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. There have been 523 mass killings since 2006, resulting in 2,727 deaths as of November 19th. This is according to the Associated Press database on mass killings in the U.S. If you'd like to check out that database, the link is below. Next, from New York. A New York City attorney was sentenced to 15 months behind bars on Friday for firebombing an empty New York City police vehicle with another lawyer during protests over the murder of George Floyd. Before hearing her sentence, Yarouj Rahman asked the judge to spare her sentence time and give her a second chance to redeem herself for what she called a momentary lapse of judgment. Federal prosecutors had recommended a sentence of 18 to 24 months as part of a plea deal. Rahman and Collinford Mattis were arrested amid clashes between protesters and police on May 30th, 2020, during an eruption of demonstrations following George Floyd's killing by a police officer in Minnesota. Surveillance cameras recorded Rahman hurling an incendiary device into a parked police vehicle, setting fire to its console. No one was injured in the attack, but the vehicle was severely damaged. Officers arrested the lawyers on a short time later and said they found a lighter, Bud Light beer bottle filled with toilet paper, and a gasoline tank in the back of a minivan drove by Mattis, who was a corporate attorney. Prosecutors alleged the lawyers planned to distribute it and throw other Molotov cocktails. Rahman and Mattis have been disbarred. Mattis is scheduled for sentencing next month. Next, from Philly. A judge on Thursday sentenced a white former Philadelphia police officer to 11 and a half to 23 months in prison in the 2017 fatal shooting of an unarmed black motorist, far less than the decades behind bars he potentially faced. Then Officer Eric Rook Jr. shot and killed 25-year-old Dennis Plowden Jr. 6 seconds after arriving on the scene as Plowden sat on a sidewalk upon crashing a car during a high-speed chase. He was fired from the department months later. Rook, 34, was charged in 2020 and convicted in September of voluntary manslaughter and a weapons charge. The voluntary manslaughter charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. During the sentencing, the Common Pleas Court Judge, Barbara McDermott, said Rook had demonstrated good behavior since he was charged, and a longer sentence would not offer him any rehabilitation. The sentence also includes parole eligibility and carries no financial penalties. The judge's decision outraged Rook's family. During the trial, Rook told jurors he feared for his life when he fired at Plowden. He said that Plowden had his left hand raised but kept his right hand hidden despite police orders. Prosecutors said there was no justification to shoot Plowden, noting that several other officers took cover and held their fire. The jury rejected a more serious third-degree murder charge, but also convicted Rook of possessing an instrument of crime. Rook is one of 3 police officers who had been charged with murder for their on-duty actions by District Attorney Larry Krasner, a longtime civil rights lawyer who frequently sued police earlier in his career. A first-degree murder charge filed against Rook was dropped before trial. Krasner's office has 10 days to appeal the sentence, though Prosecutors declined to immediately comment, according to the Inquirer. Plowden's widow won a $1.2 million wrongful death settlement from the city. Next, from Qatar. Tyler Adams acted like a leader since he joined the United States soccer team 5 years ago, and now he actually has the title. Adams was appointed captain at the unusual age of 23, the youngest at this year's tournament, and the youngest for the Americans at the soccer showcase since Walter Barr in 1950. Adams was elected captain in a vote by about 35 players held in September and announced on the eve of the national team's tournament opener against Wales. He will become the first African American to wear the armband for the U.S. throughout a World Cup. Ernie Stewart, who was 33 and the son of an African American serviceman, captained the U.S. in the 2002 opener against Portugal because of Claudio Reyna's strayed right quadriceps. Adams from Wappinger, New York, captained the national team 9 times previously, including 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Adams made his national team debut in November 2017 and has made 32 international appearances. He debuted with Major League Soccer's New York Red Bulls in 2015, moved to RB Leipzig in 2019, and to Leeds in the offseason. Well, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Keep up with me on Instagram at The Morning Roundup. I also have another show called The Black Case Files, where I do more of a deep dive on murders, mysteries, conspiracies, and history, focusing on people of color. I will also be adding some news, in-depth stories on there as well. That show is always linked below, and I will see you tomorrow, friends. Bye.